There is a moment when a man doesn't lose respect all at once. He loses it quietly. Not through failure, not through weakness, but through the words he repeats without noticing. People don't stop respecting a man because he makes mistakes. They stop when his language begins to signal surrender. Excuses, deflection, entitlement disguised as honesty. Stoic philosophy has always understood this. Words are not harmless. They are habits of thought made audible, and habits, repeated long enough, become character. Before the world treats a man as replaceable, he teaches it how. Sentence by sentence. If you want to understand where respect is lost, don't look at what a man owns. Listen to what he says when things don't go his way. That's where the collapse begins. Every sentence a man repeats sends a signal, not about his mood, but about his position. People don't consciously analyze your words. They adjust to them. They sense whether you lead yourself or excuse yourself. Stoicism teaches that respect is not demanded. It is inferred. From tone, from restraint, from what you refuse to say under pressure. That's why weak language doesn't just sound bad, it quietly reshapes how others treat you. What follows are not insults, they are warnings. 6 common phrases men use, right before respect begins to disappear. 1. I had no choice. This sentence sounds harmless, even honest, but in reality, it is the language of surrender. The moment a man says, I had no choice, he gives his power to circumstances. He places events above his judgment, and responsibility quietly leaves the room. Stoic philosophy rejects this completely. There is always a choice, if not in outcome, then in response. If not in control, then in character. Men who keep respect don't deny difficulty. They deny helplessness. They say, this is what I chose, and they carry the weight without complaint. Excuses may protect the ego for a moment, but they cost authority long-term because people don't respect men who are trapped by life. They respect men who own it, especially when it's uncomfortable. 2. That's just how I am. This phrase pretends to be self-acceptance. In truth, it's resistance to growth. When a man says, that's just how I am, he is drawing a line where discipline should begin. He treats his flaws as identity, and his identity as an excuse. Stoic philosophy sees character differently. Character is not discovered, it is trained. Marcus Aurelius warned against confusing habit with fate. What you repeat becomes familiar. What becomes familiar feels natural. And soon, weakness hides behind honesty. Men who keep respect never defend their limitations. They outgrow them, quietly, relentlessly. The moment you stop challenging your patterns, others stop expecting more from you, and respect fades. Not with conflict, but with lowered standards. 3. I don't care. This sentence is often mistaken for strength. It sounds detached, unbothered, untouchable. But most of the time, it's not control, it's avoidance. When a man says, I don't care, what he usually means is, I don't want responsibility for how this turns out. Stoic discipline is not emotional numbness, it is selective engagement. You choose what deserves your energy, and you fully own that choice. Indifference without judgment is not strength. It's withdrawal without mastery. Men who keep respect don't announce apathy. They act with restraint. They stay calm without declaring it. Because the moment you say, I don't care, people hear something else. He has stepped back. And when a man steps back too often, others step forward over him. 4. It's not my fault. This sentence shifts weight instead of carrying it. It may be factually true, but socially, it is costly. The moment a man says, it's not my fault, he may protect his image, but he loses his leverage. Stoic philosophy draws a hard line here. You are not responsible for everything that happens. but you are responsible for how you respond. Always. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, control the response. The rest is noise. Men who keep respect don't rush to clear their name. They move to correct the situation. They focus on resolution, not blame. Blame language signals dependency. Ownership signals authority. People don't trust men who explain why they weren't wrong. They trust men who act as if the outcome still belongs to them, and respect follows that signal every time. 5. They should understand me. This sentence reveals expectation without responsibility. It assumes the world owes you empathy without requiring you to earn clarity or results. When a man says, "They should understand me," he places his comfort above performance. He wants acceptance before discipline. Stoicism teaches the opposite. The world is not obligated to understand you. It only responds to what you consistently demonstrate. Strong men don't demand to be understood. They make their actions unmistakable. They let standards speak louder than explanations. The need to be understood often signals insecurity. It seeks validation where self-command should exist. Respect doesn't come from sympathy. It comes from reliability, from predictability under pressure. When a man stops asking to be understood and starts acting with precision, others adjust without needing an explanation. 6. I deserve more. This sentence sounds confident, but confidence that isn't backed by action is entitlement. When a man says, "I deserve more," without changing his standards, his effort, or his discipline, he exposes a gap between expectation and reality. Stoic philosophy is unforgiving here. The world does not reward desire. It rewards alignment between effort and outcome. Men who keep respect never announce what they deserve. They build lives that make it obvious, quietly, consistently. Entitlement language signals impatience. It tells others you are counting rewards instead of increasing value. Respect is not claimed, it is observed. At the moment a man stops talking about what he deserves and starts focusing on what he delivers, his position changes without a word. Respect is rarely lost through one mistake. It disappears through repeated language. Remove these 6 sentences, and you remove the signals of weakness. Strong men don't argue for their worth. They discipline their words, their standards, and their responses. When your language changes, your position follows.